Peace and love, you guys. Salute to everyone. I hope you guys are well. It's been a little minute, but I figured I'd come by and speak on some nasty work is the only way that I can put it. As far as the subject that I'm going to be getting into today. Now, I stayed low-key on the boxing front for some time. As you guys may have noticed, I kind of been a little bit silent the past few days. Sometimes I like to sit back and watch things unfold. Not everything needs commenting on. That's kind of my position. And to be honest, in addition to that stance that I have, real talk, there's been a lot of worthlessness in the boxing landscape that I've been seeing as well, for the reason why I wouldn't add my voice to anything that I was not passionate about just because something came up, so to speak. I'd much rather speak on something that takes my interest or that I find worthy to be given some light. Now, since the major fight took place basically a month ago with, Terrence Crawford being the last kind of the major fights that we were piling up to see. Of course, we had the Shakur Stevenson and everything in the prior months. Things have gone, obviously, into quite a lull now that those things have passed. And unfortunately, for us boxing enthusiasts, it's clear, if you guys have been watching clearly, that we are not going to be ending the year with a bang, as we would typically expect to. We always want to end the year with a big bang. It doesn't seem like that is going to be happening, considering the fights that have been announced recently. I'm sure you guys have been keeping up with that. Now, one thing that hasn't ceased, however, to be in motion is the folly within the sport, you guys. The folly. That doesn't seem to cease at all. It seems to me that the nonsense and the folly is the action. That's what it seems to be these days, is that the nonsense, the charades, is the action. It isn't the action itself. It isn't warriorhood. You know what I'm saying? It's the nonsensical. Not being able to sit back and watch greatness unfold. No. Not being able to see generalship at work in real time in front of us. No. Not people creating a legacy worthwhile, worth standing on, worth backing and supporting. No, that's not the action we seem to be getting in this day and age. Folly and foolery is the new pay-per-view attraction, you guys, right? That's the new competitive edge. It's sickening, real talk. Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis will not be fighting. Okay, Core is fighting some goddamn 130-pounder who got knocked clean the fuck out in his last fight. And Tank is fighting who goddamn knows who. He's fighting his shadow somewhere in the dark, somewhere. Okay? Bud is now out here saying that he only wants to fight Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is fighting another red-hot cherry goddamn pick that nobody gives a damn about him fighting in the ring. And now, to my disgust and to my dismay, it seems that the resurfacing of pity and low-key pandering to and for and toward racist Ryan Garcia is once again on the prowl, y'all. Yes, it's rearing its ugly head again. This pandering, this coddling and trying to cost set Ryan Garcia, it's on the move once again, you guys. And I'm so disgusted that I had to come across such a thing because I was not expecting it upon viewing this particular video that we are going to get into. But yes, it is fucking back. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have heard the recent interview on Andre Ward's show, his new podcast, I guess, interview platform. He released it yesterday. And he basically, in this interview, sat down and had an extensive discussion with Eddie Hearn. Okay. And in the talk, honestly, you guys, I heard a few things that had me squinting very hard at the television. Eyebrow raised, cringe-worthy things. And it was particularly during the portion where he and Eddie spoke about the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight. Okay? Go check it out if you guys haven't. If you have, let's discuss it together. Now, firstly, Andre Ward had a very warped stance and partisan for Riri the racist. That's just number one. That's just on the table. Okay? He did not, for whatever reason, want to acknowledge Ryan as a drug cheat. It is what the fuck it is. I found that to be so confusing, strange, and absolutely above all, 1000% unacceptable. Unacceptable. This man, Andre Ward, said that Ryan's drug use was basically, essentially to no benefit to Ryan Garcia, right? But that it was more so due to his tactical ability as a fighter that essentially made him get the win that night over Devin Haney. Now, of course, we know that this is recycling a lot of folly that we've heard, paraded around social media, people in defense of Ryan Garcia because they are so against Devin Haney and Bill Haney for whatever reason. And a lot of the underlying issues with that definitely seem to be predicated on race from the non-Black audience and from within the Black audience. A lot of it, real talk, seems to be based in a hate of seeing someone like themselves achieve such heights in tandem with the family structure that loves and backs and supports them. I'm sure there are other myriad factors, but I'll chop it up to that as far as other Black men viciously, vehemently hating on Devin and Bill Haney the way that they do from our culture. It's insidious, it's disgusting, and it's replete with all types of ignominious intent and a sense of ignominy for oneself and one's culture. Now, I don't know to what degree that is at work with Andre Ward. If it is at all, I cannot say. But one thing's for certain is that he definitely regurgitated those sentiments and made certain to, on his platform, regurgitate such sentiments that cater to that mainstream narrative. Okay? That is very problematic for me. Very problematic for me. He is deliberately bypassing the guilt that needs to be given and attributed and held responsible by Ryan Garcia for his cheating. He is averting from that reality by saying that it was Ryan's talent that got him the win, completely overlooking the fact that this man was juiced up to his fucking neck with a performance-enhancing drug, you guys. I'm just disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted the more and more I unpack these layers. Now, Eddie Hearn divulged some sentiments that he had shared with Devin, after the fight. One of which was that they had acknowledged together that Riri was massive on fight night, okay? He rehydrated far beyond what Devin was able to, okay? Eddie Hearn stated, quote, "He was massive in that ring. Devin rehydrates heavy, okay? But Ryan was just massive." Okay, this is Eddie Hearn. That's his statement because he is acknowledging the clear disadvantages on this particular level. Okay, he's acknowledging that, Ryan was crazy bigger than Devin. It was outrageous. You should see in the expression in his face. And every time I've heard Eddie talk about the size difference, he's very expressive, to communicate. You may not be able to have seen it on the television, but he was there live and in person. And this man is exaggerating his expressions every time he talks about it, because this is how substantial the size difference was, okay, in real time. And Eddie is sharing this with Andre Ward. Now, here goes Andre Ward, like some pillow biting creep, okay, just thirsty as ever. He replies, but I think it was just tactical. I think the weight played a bit of a role, but for a great boxer, somebody can be heavier than you, and that won't make a difference. I can have enough skill and enough IQ to offset that extra weight and put this boxing on you. And all of the alcohol and all of the bad habits, that's going to come out of you. We're going to see that on display. End quote. That's Andre Ward, you guys. Did you guys hear this? What the fuck did I just hear, you guys? What was I hearing? Andre Ward? The SOG? Am I hearing things, you guys? Andre Ward, just moments later, mind you, as you will see when you go check out the interview, just moments earlier, okay? He said that Tank Davis ensured that Ryan not only had the rehydration clause for their fight, but that Tank Davis also ensured that had Ryan come in overweight, he'd have to immediately weigh in on the next day. It was mandatory that he weighed in on the next day, on the day of the fight. This is Ward and Eddie Hearn talking about this, and Ward is praising Tank for such a stringent and staunch position, okay, that he is taking for Ryan Garcia in the event that he did not meet the terms or oblige those terms. He is praising Tank Davis for taking those measures and ensuring that Ryan is held fully responsible and fully accountable should he had come in, overweight or anything like that during their fight. But now all of a sudden, when it comes to Devin Haney, weight shouldn't have been a factor or an issue for him? Hold up. Weight should not have played a role or been a factor whatsoever when Devin Haney was faced with an opponent potentially coming into the ring overweight to whatever capacity. He should have just overcome that. Is that what we're saying? But you praised Tank 3 minutes earlier for ensuring that he was safe, basically ensuring his own safety by setting that rehydration clause and all the measures and precautions associated with that safety. So what the fuck does that mean? Is Tank not a real boxer then? Because he didn't dare to overcome Ryan's weight cheating and drug cheating? Is Tank not a real boxer? According to you, Mr. Goddamn Andre Ward? What the fuck is going on here with this type of dialogue? Talk about some a great boxer wouldn't have that make a difference to them. They could have enough skill and IQ to offset the weight. What? I just could not believe what I was hearing, you guys. This is also the same man that fucking dealt with a similar issue as he and Eddie Hearn got into a little bit in that interview as well, where Eddie Hearn had shared that back in, I believe, 2015, Andre Ward went up against one of his fighters, and the guy, came in overweight. And Andre Ward and his manager, I guess Jay Prince, saw to it that he was penalized. This is when he fought Paul Smith. Paul Smith came in something like 4 pounds overweight, very similar to Ryan, who came in about 3.5 pounds overweight. And all the measures were taken by his team, to ensure that this shit, be dealt with. He knows the severity of such a situation because he faced it. Yet he still has the gall to sit there and say, you could have just, get the fuck out of my face, please. If it was no big deal, why did he and his manager set off to ensure the penalization of Paul Smith? If weight was not a big deal, if you didn't feel that you were at a clear and strict disadvantage upon facing somebody that much overweight. This interview was really full to the brim with all types of subterfuge and, snide comments and backhanded, statements. I'm absolutely appalled by Andre Ward. Absolutely appalled by this man, you guys. Can't say it enough. But yes, Andre Ward's warped sentiments was that basically, Devin Haney should have just overcame the aspect of Ryan's deliberate bypassing of the weight terms. And now we get to the point of the drug cheating. Now, at this point of the interview, you guys, as if I wasn't already completely taken aback by what it was that I was hearing, at this point, it just gets worse, basically. Eddie Hearn goes in about basically how the drug Ostarine was live and well in Ryan's system on the night of the fight. Okay, he goes in and he says it was active in his system during the fight. He then goes on to say, quote, "If I'm honest, knowing and being all through these 50 different cases and stuff like that," he's referring to all the, times that he has faced, drug cheating scandals among his fighters. Right. So he goes on to say, me knowing and having been through all these 50 different cases and stuff like that, it would lead me to believe that it was in relation to the weight cut. I don't believe that if you are cheating, like on a cycle or whatever, or in camp, and then he pauses a little bit and Andre Ward then proceeds to finish his statement. Basically, he closes it with, he completes his statement by saying it's not going to be the week of. And Eddie Hearn agrees that, yes, it wouldn't be the week of if you're trying to cheat. Mind you, what the fuck is cheat? Either you're cheating or you goddamn not. This nigga talk about if you're cheating. What the hell? But anyway, the point is to say that they're completing each other's thought that, oh, well, if you're trying to do that on that level, you wouldn't be taking it the week of the fight, right? And Eddie Hearn agrees with what Andre Ward posited in trying to complete his statement. Basically, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Eddie Hearn then goes on to say, quote, he tried to say it was contamination, but if it wasn't contamination, I believe that he's probably taking it to try and help him make weight for that fight. End quote. You guys, this is some bullshit on a whole nother level, on an entirely diabolical level, you guys. And it gets worse. It gets worse because here comes Andre Ward with the slam dunk from fucking half court, okay? Just flying in the air, okay? Tongue out and ready to bring it on home for the coons. Andre Ward happily and with alacrity and readiness to support all the folly, okay? He responds with this, quote, and I agree, given when the test, given the week that he popped, obviously, the test takes several weeks, but he popped the week of the fight and the night of the fight. You don't start taking things the week of the fight and the night of the fight. Given the rumors about how he showed up to New York and about how he was overweight, I believe that somebody said, hey, take this. And it was some form of diuretic. He took it and he didn't do his research and he popped and now he's responsible for it. End quote. Oh my goodness, you guys. Now, the layers within this man's statement. Oh my God. Let's just get to this. Where do I begin? Where the hell do I begin, you guys, with what Andre Ward said? Did he say that he believes that Ryan Garcia was basically innocently handed something like a diuretic? A diuretic, you guys? Is that what that man just said? Ostarine is not a diuretic. How the fuck did Ostarine become a diuretic overnight, you guys? Where the fuck did he get a diuretic from? When the man popped specifically for Ostarine, Ostarine doesn't have diuretic properties within it. Ostarine is a supplement, one that boosts cellular growth, allows for recovery of all forms, improves blood circulation, and all types of benefits for high performance activity. Okay? Where the fuck did Andre Ward get diuretic from? Is he kidding me? You guys, a diuretic is what induces urine. That's what a diuretic does. It increases the flow of urination. Ostarine is not for the use of increase in urination, you guys. This man is making an alibi that isn't even plausible or possible within the spectrum of the supplement and substance of ostarine. What the fuck is he talking about diuretic, y'all? This is absolutely astounding. This is astounding that this man is saying this on a public platform. Is this man for real? I have lost every shred and every ounce of respect for Andre Ward. He is done in my book. Done. And him going on to refer to the notion that Ryan being overweight was a rumor. Well, why would he choose that word, you guys? It's subterfuge. It's deceit. Nothing about Ryan being overweight was a rumor. I don't give a fuck by how much. He was overweight. That's the fact and that's the point. He brought his overweight ass into the ring. This is Andre trying to bypass the reality, even though Eddie Hearn confirmed over and over again just how massive Ryan was at both the presser and, of course, even more substantially during the fight. What the fuck does he mean, rumor? And by further trying to go in and, save the day for his ostarine princess, Riri, by saying, oh, well, you don't start taking things like that the week of the fight or the night of the fight if you're trying to cheat somebody, you guys. Like, wipe the nut off your mouth, son. It's wild out here. These simps are failing to understand or to point out or to allow the public to recognize the ones who do not know what is going on, the ones who are not privy to the history of this scandal, is that what was in Ryan's system was not the full amount. What was found in Ms. Riri's system was the remnant of what he had been taking over a period of time. That is what was left in his system. I know they want to do their best to make it seem as if, he just ate some Skittles and then, the next day got caught dirty. That's not how this works. There is a thing called microdosing. There are ways to take drugs over a period of time, and even with testing cycles, that VADA or whatever provides, that you can bypass those measures and still maintain, your dosing. That's why it's microdosing. You do it at a certain amount, little bit at a time, and you get to limit your chances of being caught. And interestingly enough, I came across some information that states that you are more likely to get caught during your microdosing process or in between those stages when there is less fat in the body. And what happens when one is cutting weight? They are losing mass. They are losing fat. And so whatever they may have been taking previously to that is likely to seep out from the muscles that they are losing, from all the mass that they are losing, that they are draining from their bodies. So this cloak that they are trying to throw over people's eyes, and that we've heard constantly over the past few months, that people try to take this position that, oh, well, Ryan only tested positive the day before and the night of the fight. And that somehow because of this, he maintains a sense of innocence. That is not the case. He just happened to get caught when his weight was being drained from him at a much higher and accelerated rate because he was attempting to get close enough to the weight that he had in mind, which was never to meet 140, but to remain as close to it as possible. And hence you get the 143 marker that he met, or at least a little bit above that. No matter which way you motherfucking slice it and dice it, he got caught goddamn cheating. And it was not to cut weight. How the hell do you cut weight with something that increases muscle mass? It's the absolute antithesis, and it defeats the purpose of cutting weight if he is trying to put on mass and build muscle structure and repair cellular tissue, vital tissues. It defeats the purpose of draining. These people are really out here doing their best to shroud you in all types of stratagem, okay? All types of deception and artifice. It's insane what they are doing on behalf of Ryan Garcia. Who the fuck is this nigga? Like, I gotta get in my young ill voice like, Smack, who is this nigga? You feel me? That they gotta go so hard for, pause, or low-key not pause, they get so hard for. Jumping in all types of conversations and jumping in front of all types of bullets for this motherfucker? What is going on here? They are still on a tirade out here trying to convince the boxing public that Ryan Garcia is not at fault and should not be castigated for his actions. Isn't it so that it should be quite the opposite? That people should be out here making their mark and making it known that drug cheating is not allowed at any level, to any capacity in this sport? Out here holding a flag and holding up fists for Devin, who stood on his feet regardless of the onslaught that was coming his way, who stood on his feet and stood on business in front of a filthy drug cheat. And for Eddie Hearn to sit there also, laying a carpet down for Ryan's credibility against his own fighter, against a fighter that he's worked with for years. Devin is not signed to him per se, but he and Devin had a partnership years in the making. And as Eddie shared himself, he and Devin aimed to receive Undisputed together. Together. That was an aim that they set out to accomplish as a team. And you're going to put the motherfucking red carpet down and rose petals for Ryan? I'm appalled. Fuck Ryan's credibility. He has none. And that's of his own doing. Because if he didn't do that bullshit, he wouldn't be in this predicament. You make the bed, you lay in it. That's nobody's fault but his own. That's his own greed, his own immaturity, and his own incapability and insecurity as a fighter and as a man. He's got to deal with that. Fuck his credibility. I'm not giving him shit. He soiled it. I'm burying it. I'm not running to coddle that man. He knew exactly what he was doing and what he wanted to get out of it. He got what he wanted out of it, and now he got to deal with the consequences that come with that. Andre Ward and Eddie Hearn really made a complete mockery of themselves by trying to sit there and saying, they just believed that he was trying to cut weight. That's absolutely insanity and absurd. Get that shit out of my face, please. How the fuck could you be trying to cut weight with something that's made to repair muscle mass and endurance and build stamina, etc.? These motherfuckers are out here trying to provide a saving grace that does not exist. And this idea, in Andre Ward's head, Haney still should have had enough, in him where he could have overcome that. He's skilled enough to have overcome that, or should have been. Trying to front and pretend like you're complimenting him, but really it's a backhanded statement. Because what you're doing is putting the man who cheated on a pedestal and the man who was cheated at the center of blame. Your skills failed you. See, Devin? Why didn't you do this, that, and the third? You should have overcome this. So what? He outweighed you. So what? He had such and such in his system, helping with his blood circulation and the repair of his muscles in real time and controlling his stamina and this, that, and the third. Why didn't you deal with it better? Why weren't you able to overcome being 5 to 10 times more depleted than he was in real time in that ring? Why weren't you able to bypass your drained body, the water loss to your brain, and everything else that's affected with weight cutting? Do you hear how sick that sounds, you guys? Andre Ward made it very clear. Let's not be mistaken, you guys. He evinced for everyone his stance and his position that Devin was to blame. Okay? He ran in and saved the day for Ryan Garcia. He was given this. He didn't know what he was given. He just took it. He didn't do his research on the drug he was given. I think he just swallowed it because he's good at swallowing, apparently. On the other hand, Devin is to blame because he couldn't get his depleted body up to form. Devin is to blame because he actually followed through with the terms of their agreement and their contract. He actually met the weight and met every single term, just as he always does and always has throughout his career. He's to blame because he's the professional. This interview, only further clarified what the position is in the boxing world and the continued stance that these people continue to take as far as the master narrative is concerned against Devin Haney and for whatever reason. It's apparent that these people are, tickled pink at the thought and at the sight of what took place in that ring between Devin and Ryan back in April. They are in their lust and they want to continue to provide a lighthouse for Ryan Garcia because he fulfilled and provided the image of a black man elite in this sport to be compromised. He provided them the visual satisfaction of seeing an elite black male brought to heel, quote unquote, in their mind at least. Even though we know it was wrongful, us woke ones, us cognizant ones know that. But still, the fetish was satisfied in them. And they reward Ryan because he provided that. That's why they hold dear to his image. That's why they want to provide him a saving grace. That's why they want to, try to save the day and save his reputation. Because Ryan Garcia satisfied the itch, so to speak. And I guess Andre Ward got a little pat on the head and some carrots thrown his way, for the good work that he did, for the good shucking and jiving and web of lies that he was spinning. Because he did his damnedest to put his stamp of approval on every bit of the coonery that was happening in that interview, as far as he goes. And concerning Eddie Hearn, I don't know what the fuck that motherfucker's problem is. And I could only, imagine what Devin's stance is after hearing something like that. But most of all, like they say, if you're not great, you can't expect the hate. So you must be on to something really, really powerful and really big, as we all know Devin Haney is within the sport. I can't wait to see his return. And I can't wait to see, him turn more hay into gold, or better yet, more hate into legacy. Let's fucking go, Dream Team. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm on to the next. Peace.